I am Kaipada Vinod Chandra from third group. The Feynman technique. Feynman learning technique is effective for learning something new, deepen your understanding of what you have already know or helping you study for an exam. The first step is to pick up a topic you want to understand and start studying it. Once you know what it is about, take a piece of paper and write about it as if you are teaching the idea to someone else, and ideally write and speak at the same time, just as the teacher does it in the blackboard. This makes you realize which part you have understand and where you still have gaps. Whenever you get stuck, go back to study and repeat the process until you have explained the whole topic from the start to the end. When you are done, repeat the process from the beginning, but this time simplify your language or use a graphical analogy to make a point. If your explanation ends up wordy or confusing, probably you have not understood it well enough, so you should have to start again. Thinking about the idea by explaining it makes the learning method very effective. Once you can explain the idea in simple language, you have deeply understood it, and it will be remembered for a long time. Richard Feynman was a leading theoretical physicist who received a Nobel Prize for his work in quantum electrodynamics. He was notorious for asking his fellow mathematicians to explain the concept in simple language to test their understanding. Our second topic is 13 study tips, the science of better learning. Our brain can potentially memorize 2.5 petabytes of information. In order to use this amazing capacity a little more effectively when you learn, here are some study tips that are based on widely accepted researches by neuroscientists and learning experts. Spaced repetition. To maximize your learning, study short but often. It is more productive to study regularly with sleeping breaks in between. Find your own style. Some enjoy watching videos over reading books, others study with friends, and some like sitting in the silence among a million books. Everybody is different. Good night sleep. Sleep and dreams are vital to processing and storing new information. Students who had a good night's sleep show 35% better than those who studied in the morning to take the test in the evening. Focus. Protect yourself from distraction. One way is to switch off your mobile phone or go to a quiet place like library. Pomodoro technique. Set a timer to 25 minutes when you focus entirely on your studies. When the timer rings, relax for 5 minutes. If you want to continue, just set the timer again. This small breaks is relaxing and motivating to keep going. Hard stuff first. Do the difficult things first, because if you're like most of the people, you have the strongest willpower in the morning. Once you have done with the hard stuff, you will feel better for the rest of the day. Exercise, meditate, and converse. There are few activities proven to grow your brain. However, physical exercise, regular meditation, and good conversation apparently do exactly that. They lead to the creation of new neurons inside your brain and therefore grow its potential. Go places. You can create deeper memories of a subject by learning in a richer environment that offers more visual clues. Take fun seriously. Whatever it is, find a fun way to practice. Modern learning science believes that positive emotions are very important for increasing your learning potential. Space your studies. In order to remember things for a long time, repeat the material in spaced intervals. 30% read and 70% recite. This ratio usually leads to a best results. In case of an emergency, put a glass of water next to you. Take a sip whenever you lose it. Instant self-test. After you study, finish up with a quick quiz. Immediate recall in the form of a test or a short summary on what you have just learned can increase retention by as much as 30%. Don't force it. Motivation is like hunger. You can't force yourselves to be motivated. If you are not hungry, don't worry. Take a break and do something else. Focus versus diffuse thinking. The basic idea is that we have two ways of learning new information. We have focused and diffuse thinking. Focused learning works by looking at a problem set and trying really hard to get it. It's about actively using every ounce of mental force to understand the problem that is in front of us. Diffuse thinking is just letting your mind wander without any plan. It can deepen your understanding or trigger new creative thoughts. Both processes are important to maximize your understanding of a problem that you are facing. The best practice is to first focus all your attention, ideally shutting off any distraction like your mobile phone or other noises. After doing this for a while, a timer can be used. Deliberately stop to focus and let your mind freely wander. This is when the brain connects what you have just focused on with other information stored in your memory, which leads to deeper thinking. Which leads to deeper thinking, better retention, and allows for creative thoughts to happen. This technique can be used to study for tests. Start with the most difficult problem. Once you get stuck, switch to a more simple one. While you are doing the easy problem, your brain will keep the difficult problem in its working memory. Without conscious thoughts, your brain will look for connection and try to make sense of initial more difficult problem. Once you are done with the simple or easy one, you go back to the difficult one. Maybe it wasn't as difficult as you thought. Experimental learning. Arguably, the most natural and powerful form of learning is through experience, or more precisely through the reflection on doing, also called the experimental learning. By the age of 1, we all had our own painful encounter with the experience of learning. When we tried to walk, failed, fell, and cried. And even though this was an unpleasant and discouraging exercise that lasted for months, in the end, we all made it. How is that possible? As soon as we fell and the first shock was over, our brain consciously began to make sense out of all the information available to identify how this embarrassment occurred. The brain analyzes the relationship of events within our body or in the environment. It happens all the time as we learn to walk, talk, kiss, dance, etc. Once we understand the connection between what went wrong, we know what we need to do. Change when we try the next time. Experimental learning can also be used explicitly to learn a new skill or to become better at what we are doing. Thank you.
My name is Revendranath Roshni and I am from Group 3. Today I am going to discuss about 5 topics. The first topic is process oriented learning. And have anyone told you that you should have a clear goal in order to achieve something? But in modern learning science, the opposite is true. That is, to get better, focus on the process of learning and not in the outcome. To the process learning, set a fixed study time that which you focus on the study materials for about 20 minutes a day. Then study what you have finished in that fixed time. Process learning will help you to feel more relaxed during your study. Next topic is the 7 ways of learning new languages. The first way is draw yourself to swimming. That is, go to the place where the language is spoken and live there for at least 6 to 12 months. Second is immersion. That is, try to read the menu. And the third one is mnemonics. And the fourth one is scriptorium. That is the way of writing the languages. And fifth one is shadowing, that is the learning vocabularies. Sixth way is tech and apps, that is finding new apps which help to study the language. And seventh way is to get a study buddy. And the third topic is exam anxiety, that is the science of learning with stress and fear. Fear is an emotion induced when a threat to our physical or psychological well-being. It changes in brain and organ function, and it causes changes in the behavior. Then we find 3 ways out from this, that is freeze, fight, and flight. High pressure triggers the same response. Scientists included that when we panic due to any reasons, it can create a tunnel vision. That is, then our vision become smaller and limited, and we cannot find a road to success. Next time we stressed out or panicked during exams or anything, breathe in and count up to 5 and then breathe out. Repeat it for at least 5 minutes. Next is the fourth topic, that is chunking for retention. Cutting large of information into pieces help us to understand. Our short-term memory is very thin, very fast but tiny, and it can hold only 4 chunks of information once. If new information is arrived, either it erases the informations already have to create space. Second, or it can move the information from temporary to long-term memory. Once the chunk is created, we can move it into your long-term memory, where it can connect with the existing experience. Chunking helps us to understand the complex topics. The last topic is learning with passion and enthusiasm. If we expect sometimes something to happen, our brain will release the happiness chemical, that is like dopamine, endorphin, and other neurotransmitters. But not everything fun will not help us to learn. For example, shopping makes us happy, but it lasts only for 12 seconds. Then the dopamine level drops, and the neuroscientist Dr. Hugo argued that young children can learn multiple languages and many other things, mainly because of their ability to be excited. If we able to constantly learn new things in an excitable way, the chemicals released in your brain are likely to outlive the pleasure. It seems happiness and learning are not only come from the same origin in our brain, but it also promotes one another.
Drastuit, my name is Kalatil Muhammad Alfat Rahman and I am from third group. So deliberate practice, it is a mindful and highly structured form of learning by doing. It is the process of continued experimentation to first achieve mastery and eventually fully automatic of a specific skill. There are some points that define success and drill deliberately. Define all the elements you practice to become successful. Plan, reflect, and take notes. Plan at your practice, that you practice everything in a routine. Go slow. To build a good foundation of muscle memory, practice slow and correct it. So our brain need some time to build and focus. Limit your sessions for focus. Deliberate practice is hard mental work. Limit the sessions to a reasonable duration that allows you to stay focused. Maximize practice time. Track small intervals of improvement. Emulate practice, not a performance. Then repetition that makes perfect. Then routine, it is everything. The deliberate practice not only works for muscles but also for our mind. He and other wise minds deliberately practice taking other people's anger, suspicion, and mistrust, and give them patience, tolerance, and compassion in return. And the memory place, it is a technique to remember facts, numbers, or other things. It is about changing your memories into images placed in a familiar mental location. The idea that you can mentally walk through your palace, locating or looking at your memories to recall them. Then the another thing is study smart. Before we start studying, make sure that we have everything or we have got everything that we need to study. To avoid procrastination, we need to shut down all distraction. Then there are three steps. Like, first we need to aim our content. Our aim is to study the content, to know about the content. Then second, make handwritten notes. We need to make handwritten notes that we studied, and we need to simplify the content and make written notes. Then number three, the revise every portion that we studied. If we done like this, we can score good grades in exams, and we will achieve a good knowledge. Effective practice. Practice allows us to take a break and dive into a new world where we do with other. We learn to understand the true value of teamwork for the development of our brain. It's fantastic. To our brain, it is like a firework of living, learning and development. Practice slow and mindful. Keep it interesting. Then practice hard parts first. Then take it easy parts. Then imagination. Process of learning to get good at anything. We cannot just focus on the result. Then Bloom's taxonomy. It is a toolbox that teachers and or students can use to classify and organize learning objectives. It is most popular version based on the cognitive domain, and assumes that made by people or learning should be structured. There are 6 steps. These 6 steps are: first, remember; then understand; then apply; the fourth one is analyze; then evaluate; and create. If we done this, we can have a good memory power and achieve good grades. We have good grades in exam. Спасибо.